You're about to another dimension. A dimension and sound of might.
Here we go again. Justice League Skate Talk. The incredible, the rap voice in the building tonight. Let's start the show.
Oh yeah, dibby-dibby-doo-doo. It's all right. It's Friday, and we about to get it in. You know what it is. You are live with the superheroes with the most. It's Justice League, and this is Skate Talk, where we talk that skate and nothing but the skate. So help us, Lord Almighty. With you on the ones and twos, Super Duper Man, more powerful than a locomotive, faster than a speeding bullet. Uh-oh. And then you know who it is. Right over that way. He was coming out the store with a loaf of bread, stealing it. When the store owner saw him, they say his first name was Green, his last name was Lantern, middle name, motherfucker. And when they reported it to the police, they told him, catch that green motherfucking lantern. That's who he is. Oh.
I'm a whole superhero that steals now.
Hey,
anti-hero, I guess.
They gotta watch you. They gotta watch you. You know, hey, it's the Dark Knight. We live. Yo, I see we got our aces in the building already saying what's up. Greg, please, we need you to come on to the show tonight, because trust me, you the one who put us on to this. So I had to do my research after last show because of what Greg informed us, and we got a interesting topic that we want to go, but we want to talk about the situation at hand to go into the topic. Always encourage everybody to tune in to the last show because it was phenomenal. But before we tap into this show, we got to give it up for the sponsors. With that being said,
Rock. Baby, just try. You taste so good.
this show is sponsored by one of our sponsors, Ciroc, the drink that provides durability as well as drinkability. But you must what?
Drink responsibly.
You got it. Kicking off, I'm back on my pomegranate. Got my pomegranate with a little Hawaiian punch. So we doing it pretty good. GL, I see you got something holding it up.
I got that pineapple spritzer, Ciroc pineapple spritzer.
Hey.
Okay.
Super, what you drinking now? What you been drinking?
Went back white grape and some fruit punch and apple. Toast.
Clinky. With that being said, we got to give it up for the other sponsor. We got Enchanted Desserts, where the magic is in the taste. Hope you guys enjoyed some of that real velvet sandwich cookies that we had sponsored by Enchanted Desserts, and it was enchanted. They were good. How did you guys like yours?
Hell yeah. Hey, that shit is so rich that you got to take your time eating. Take your time with it. You can't just scarf that down. Say, just let it hit you. Let it bite. Tear it down. Hit it with the slogan.
Indeed. Hey, if your stomach's beat, have an enchanted treat. Enchanted Desserts.
There it is.
Magic is in the taste.
There's a primetime sighting.
Primetime is in the building.
It's a prime.
One of them freaks is in the building. Hey, so salute and shout out to the Freakum girls from out there in KC, man.
That's
you know
what's
what?
up.
Without
They
y'all,
finally got off the porch because big dogs eat. Little crying puppies stay on the porch.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we got our people in here. I've been talking with Snowflake too about the incident, and man, we shared things from our perspective, and let's go ahead and kick off the first video, the disturbing part of it. I mean,
okay, well, hopefully, let's just put it out there that it's not a very good quality video. But
yeah, the video was taken from someone else's cell phone, but we're gonna play it so you at least have some aspect and feeling. For those who have not seen it, you get a little bit of aspect of what actually happened. Hopefully, we can get Greg on here as well when we just kind of start talking and sharing. Maybe even Snowflake can come in as well too, to kind of just give some perspective and views, and we share our points, and we get everybody just kind of talking and chatting in to talk about this, because this is serious. You guys roll the footage, roll the beam footage.
Yep.
Woo-wee.
J Rags, what's good, brother?
Get money.
Darkness is in the building.
Interesting to kind of see the just the straight up, I guess, tussle of it. This is at, mind you, Roller City, which is Wichita, Kansas. That was an incident, and it's been stated that it was police brutality. Before we get into kind of sharing our thoughts, we're going to show the actual news footage, which is a little bit better. So you get kind of the full synopsis before you come to, a statement about what you just saw. Here's the news footage of it actually being reported.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alexis Padilla, pleading for accountability. Wichita's demanding justice after video shows an off-duty police officer hitting and pushing a teenager against a wall, then spraying him with pepper spray. The press conference wrapping up in the last 45 minutes. Mally Jones was there. Mally, what did they say?
Alexis, many emotions here today. There was anger, frustration, and concern. Dozens of Wichitans gathered here at the Calvary Baptist Church to ask Wichita police and city leaders to take action against the police officer who was seen in the viral video. To recap, this happened New Year's Eve at Roller City. Police say a teen girl was asked to leave the roller rink, but they say she refused and tried to hit an officer. That's when police say a 16-year-old boy got involved and hit a second officer on the back of the head, leading to a fight that was caught on video showing an officer hitting and pushing that teen. Wichita Police Chief Joe Sullivan told us yesterday that the officer has been placed on administrative duties.
It happens over and over and over again, and given an officer who commits such an egregious act towards a youth in our community, giving them desk duty and reassignment is not an effective deterrent. Firing and taking away benefits is an effective means to curb this type of egregious behavior.
The teen boy who was hit by the officer and his mom were here at the press conference today, here tonight at 6 o'clock. Hear what the mother wants to be done and what that night was like for them. Here for you, Mally Jones, KSN News 3.
So, okay, we got something on there. We'll have to look at that.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick here.
I don't know what that is. It looked like somebody talking about bot prices or something like that.
Never mind. Yep.
We're getting scammed here on the show. So,
Right.
egregious. That might have to be the show's word for today. Egregious behavior. So, and please, if we could get Greg in here, that would be great, because I think on our last show he said he was there and had to break up the incident and what happened.
Greg,
So
come on in
we
here, brother.
had 2 off-duty police officers working the event, and skating rink staff asked a, looks like, female team to leave the rink. Now, I don't know what reason. Obviously, we don't have those details, but I mean, when you're in somebody else's establishment and they ask you to leave the rink, why won't you just leave? I'm sure you've been kicked out of worse places or better places than that. Why make it a muss and fuss? Why not leave? So at that point, it looks like, and I'm kind of breaking it down from my perspective, the off-duty police officers have to get involved to escort, because it is private property, it's an establishment, to escort this 15-year-old out of the building. Now, at some point, it looks like there was a physical altercation. Obviously, maybe, and I'm just stating this, that maybe the 15-year-old girl didn't want to leave and was standing her ground on not to leave. We don't know why. Maybe it was unfair or whatever the case may be, but she was asked to leave, and the police officers, off-duty officers, asked her to leave, and obviously she didn't leave, and it was stated that she struck one of the off-duty police officers. Now, the second video talks about consequences on the police officer who committed the police brutality against the boy. But anyway, we'll get back to that. So at that point, they tried to obviously subdue her, gain control of her, whatever the case may be. At which point, a 16-year-old boy decides to come in and hit one of the off-duty police officers. Now, what cases, I don't know if it was his sister, his girlfriend, his, whatever, that he felt the need that he had to intervene, or he saw something wrong in what was being done, but to hit off-duty police officer, I mean, I feel like nobody's talking about that. The striking of adults and officials, authority figures at that is it seems like we've gotten way out of hand and way past that. Now, when you look at the second video and they talk about consequences being brought to that police officer, off-duty police officer, at which maybe, maybe ain't no maybe, what he did was a tad bit excessive, with the punching, slamming up against the wall, so to speak, and then macing the teen afterwards. That can be looked at as excessive. Is it excessive? Obviously, yes. But I'm not hearing nothing about what consequences need to be to these teens for striking first.
The problem is with the teens, you really can't do anything because they are teens. That's the problem. You can't send them to juvie for some type of incident like that. That falls on the parents. So if anything, the parents could get citations, but nothing can happen to the kids if they're under 18.
Well, it's funny you say that, because a couple of years ago at Roller City, Wichita, Kansas, there was a fight outside of that skating rink with two 12-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. And did they find the parents?
Two 12-year-olds, one 12-year-old basically hitting and kicking the other 12-year-old unconscious.
Uh-huh.
It was reported, and they say that 12-year-old is going to be brought up on felony charges. So he got 15 and 16, but 12-year-olds can get brought up on charges.
This is the thing. He can be brought up on charges, but it's going to eventually fall on the parents. I just Dre, actually Goose just texted me, so we can. He said he'll tune in and he'll respond in the comments. But typically, something like that, a weapon had to have been used. If that's the case, if he's been charged, he or she had to have used a weapon.
Probably a skate.
Was reported. They stated fighting, fisticuffs, hitting, and kicking.
Right.
Kicking till they were unconscious.
Right.
So maybe that was in an attempt of, it could have been life-threatening because they continued to hit and kick after the person was unconscious.
Right.
So it could be maybe why the charges were
that could have
brought.
definitely been it. Yep.
But at some point, consequences need to come to the teens as well. Yes, I do say parents too, but teens as well. We've got to come up with some consequence for this, because this is not a situation that just happens, within certain places. The teens now are just getting out of control, and we can put fault on the parents. Yes, we can. It does start with home, but there has to be some consequences too for the teens.
It's agreed, but here's the thing. I'm having a problem with this whole thing to a degree, because you just made a point that said there was two 12-year-olds that was actually 4-year-olds was just banging it out. No big deal. They didn't think nothing of it. But that was a grown man child. And, being a parent, you know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that in the case of my child, he wouldn't go out like that. He knows better to respect the fact that there's authority that's out there, and said, knowing that we lived through that whole Mike Brown situation, considering the fact that once upon a time he lived in Canfield Gardens, right where all of this stuff was going down. That sets a you as far as a kid that was growing up, because that could have easily been you. And then for a parent, it's like that could, you know what I mean? So that puts a whole different, it sheds a whole different light on situations when you have kids. Now, will I say that the kid was wrong? Of course, I'll definitely say that he was wrong, because he had no business putting his hands on the fact that cop was on duty, no right to do that. But then the flip side of that coin is the excessive force. The excessive. That was, excessively, as we saw on the camera. I can't get with that, man. I cannot get with that.
Super Duke, those are facts too, because actually this past Sunday that just passed, there was a couple of guys that showed up to the Sunday night skate session. So during this session, they decided that we can't skate, so we're gonna run out on the floor in our shoes and just skip through everybody else skating, which could have caused some issues for a lot of skaters that don't know how to skate. Right. When they were asked to leave or get off the floor, they stated, "We do what the fuck we want to do," and then it almost turned into something else. One guy lifted up his shirt. I'm on the skating floor. I saw the gun. But by the time the police got there, he was able to hand it off to one of the females to get it up out of there before they got a chance to search him. So in this situation, Rink's got to do a much better job, because I don't know if you all know this, I think they said it was about 6 years ago, right before I got here, at Forum Roller World, someone was shot and killed inside Forum. Well, I don't know if they were killed, but I know that they were shot inside the rink. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this, it falls on every single party. It falls on the ownership. It falls on police. and it falls on the people that are involved in it physically.
And in that situation, that's definitely a tough situation. I'm gonna circle back to Super about being the parent and the kids and everything like that. I would obviously be upset if I had kids and if my kid had been, I guess, assaulted like that and handled like that.
Right.
On the flip side, I think about what I do. And I think about if I have to do my job and somebody hits me in the back of the head as a teenager. Now, we from the Bernie Mac era. Like, a 16-year-old hitting you upside the head.
Fuck your kid. I get that.
Obviously, that's what I mean. Like I said, I know if it was me and he hit me upside my head, they'd have been carrying him out. He wouldn't have been standing up in the defensive stance. They would have been carrying him out. He wouldn't have hit nobody else for a while. But then I think about from the parent aspect and like, dang, you did that. You know, hey, he assaulted somebody. Like, you hit not only a grown adult, you hit an authority figure. We never did. We knew better when we was coming up. Yeah. We knew you didn't attack police. You didn't shoot back at police. They shooting at the police now.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
There's no respect. None.
Bruce, I'm gonna go ahead and post the link, and if people want to join and make comments, they can go ahead and click the link. All right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because now the teens are coming. It's one thing when it happens like in the street or something like that. You're coming up into establishments and businesses, and you're showing no respect for the business. You're showing no respect for the adults and the authority figures. You're ruining business. Roller City skating rink now is probably ruined. Nobody wants to come there because of the.
What you speak of facts, bro.
Not that.
So the other thing is they are in jeopardy of losing a night for kids who aren't the problem.
Exactly. That's the sad part. That's what's sad. Not only for when the establishment shuts down, because we've had rinks where it was for the teens. We had Saints. We had the Palace.
Saints.
That's why they are no longer around.
And that's why because every night when we went, the teens, the teens who wanted to have fun, but it was literally a meeting ground for fights and altercations.
It was
fights and altercations, and now we don't have those establishments. Now the business owners who try to have that establishment for family fun, for extracurricular things within the community, it gets ruined.
Because that's exactly what happened to Saints in the Palace. Because the cities and the municipalities
have the same thing. It went from fights every night. There was a teen night every night.
Every Saturday night.
Some of us even went because we looked forward to seeing fights up there. People went up there to fight, and then it went from fighting
to shooting
to now we shoot.
Right,
and it's
killing, robbing, everything went up. So it's like
it's real bad, man. Because through the whole phase of like when we were going to Saints on those Saturday nights, like me and my boys, we would always get there early. We would get there a whole half hour early just so we can be the first one. You know, at that time that was letting out at 12:30. So by 12 o'clock, we was already out the door because we knew at 12:15, at 12, it was going to get real bad on the parking lot, and it was going to get. And if you went further down the street, for those that know Saints and know that area in Olivet, you got to down page and watch. Or you made that right turn to where all the restaurants were. They restaurants.
Yep.
I seen restaurants. I seen
the restaurants. No, those are facts. It got to the point where you had to be careful walking to your car. To leave the parking lot.
Yeah,
exactly.
they knew it. Our teen night at Skate King.
That's that Friday night. Yeah, that's the reason why we got to have clear badge.
They had to change every dynamic now because every session, everybody has to come in with clear bags because of what happened just on the
Friday
team
nights
and the altercations and things that happen just on the team night session. Every session now, everybody is affected by that.
Yeah, exactly. And it does nothing but hurt the community because the money that was being brought into Olivet, all the other businesses started, closing around the area because you got to look at it. That Quick Trip that used to be right across the street from Saints, that was the first to close, and that had a police substation inside it.
Exactly. Who in the hell did?
Yeah. So it's every party has to take ownership of their faults. He should not have handled that young boy that type of way. If anything, instead of getting physical, he should have sprayed the pepper spray first. That would have cleared out the area. How many times have you been in the Palace of Saints and they spray pepper spray and everybody just stopped because you can't do nothing? You can't.
I was always out.
You can't.
But I take it one step further. Remember when we were in places like the monastery? So there was a spot called the monastery.
Yeah.
Over on the east side.
Yeah, I remember.
And bouncers. These bouncers called themselves the X-Men.
Yeah,
okay.
I remember that. Yep.
When you fought, if you fought there, they jacked your ass up. Okay.
Ooh.
They picked you up, slammed you, and tossed your ass out of there. It was known not to fight because if you did, the X-Men were gonna jack you up.
Those are facts. Those are facts.
A lot of what they did, probably now, if there was phones recording, we'd be on the same thing about how they handled the situations and everything like that. But guess what? That set a precedent. There was a consequence. If you wanted somebody so bad that you fought in this establishment, accept the consequence when the X-Men come.
You already knew it was a problem. And it wasn't no escaping that problem right there. When the X-Men walked up, you already knew you was getting ready to fight again.
No, it wasn't no fighting. When the X-Men came, they jacked you up. These were big. I mean, these were the big dudes.
I know.
It wasn't no fighting them because we wasn't there yet. We wasn't, these dudes
Bodies
was
weren't
big.
physically ready for that.
We wasn't like these kids are now. These kids now eating all this testosterone Tyson's chicken and shit, and they fucking 13-year-old, 210 pounds and all of that. It wasn't, we wasn't that back then.
Yeah,
we was soaking wet 110, and these dudes was 250, 270.
Yep.
It wasn't no fighting. You was getting thrown up. They threw you up like a rag doll. You hit the ground. They picked you up. They tossed you out of there. It was, you was jacked up.
No, those are facts. So our resident police officer has in the chat. He says he's on.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, B, you can go ahead and ask him. He'll respond to the questions.
Before we get there, though,
me and Snowflake talk. So this is what it is, and this is I'm in this field a little bit as well too, like our resident officer. Maybe he needs to state that a lot of people think that police officers are really so highly trained. Okay.
Yeah.
They think that they have so much training. Guess what? They don't. Okay. They don't. There are trainings that they do, but it's not enough to compete with these kids who are out here fighting in the street every day. The kids have more respect.
He just agreed with you.
Yeah, these kids have more experience on the street and fighting and all of that than the police officers. Because I help certain districts and see training. I'm friends with several different police officers in different districts. they don't have the amount of training that they're supposed to. I work a job that we have to do certain things, and we're not provided the training that we should do, that we should have under our belts. So when you put somebody in a situation like that, you put these people who are police officers or who are authority figures, because it used to be a matter of respect. You used to didn't need all of this training. It used to be a amount of respect for authority figures that when they said something, you complied. Now nobody's complying now. They're not compliant. So now there has to be more training, different stuff. Obviously, every police officer don't have it. Some do.
So
well, here's another case with that
being
shit.
said, right. So
And then some are not
And it's like this
to handle these 16-year-olds.
One sec, we all can't talk at the same time. Go ahead, Sue.
Listen, camera.
What was you saying?
First things first, cameras are involved now. There's a lot of everybody is willing to is just trying to go viral with a video. So when you have to have cameras on as far as being police and all the rest of that stuff, it changes the trajectory on how the hell it changes the trajectory of uphold the law. B, it changes the trajectory on people that are disrespecting the law. So it's moments be caught on camera now. Whereas once upon a time before that, when we had to deal with all of this stuff, we worry about that because we just knew right out the rip, just innately, that if you show, we had the old school teaching of where you show your ass is where you get your ass beat. So we knew better.
Hello. Mm-hmm. But the thing with the cameras is it don't pick up everything. When people start filming, they ain't filming the whole situation.
Exactly, B. So like you just said earlier, there's three sides. Their side, the other side, and the truth.
So that's why the witnesses and everything are important, because they see the whole thing. We could have just saw that police officer beating up that kid. It didn't show. Now, if we didn't listen to the news report and hear that kid hit that officer upside the head, led to that, we would have never known. We'd have seen a police officer, off-duty cop, beating up this kid.
Okay, B, this is what I want you to do. So since we got our officer online right now, give him a quick breakdown of the story. That way he can say exactly how he would have handled it.
Okay, fair enough. So the situation happened where we have off-duty police officers. So I don't know. So here's one thing. When you're working the secondary, see, for most people, they don't know that police officers work secondary jobs. Okay. So there's secondary jobs that police officers can pick up, kind of like extra work. But they are still police officers, but it's a different thing. So maybe he can answer when you're a secondary on your secondary work, do you still have the same, I guess, duties and obligations as you are when you're on duty in your district as a police officer? Let's answer that first.
All right. So and he just so y'all can, I'm pretty sure you all remember. He said that he wants to be referred to as Nightwing.
My man.
All right. So while we wait for that answer,
so we got Nightwing of Bloodhaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready to give us an answer on that.
Yeah, we waiting on that. So, let's see.
He's in his shirt.
Right, what is he saying?
My shirt wouldn't have came in on time.
All right, Nightwing, go ahead and answer that question for us, though.
Do police officers still have the same, I guess, authority that they do when they're working as police officers versus secondary jobs?
Because I think a cop is a cop, whether they're off duty or not, because they still have to uphold the law.
Yeah, but do they have the same power of authority in a different district.
Okay, that's what he's saying. Let's look at it right now.
But yes,
The same
still have the same authority as a regular exit authority, but we're required to call in.
Okay. So they do. So that means you hit an off-duty police officer. Guess what?
Still hitting the cop.
You still hitting the cop.
Yeah.
And is that more so that's there's assault on pedestrians and then there's assault of a police officer.
Right.
Yeah.
That might be more of a crime.
I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, considering that he was a child, I'm glad it didn't happen. But when you assault a police officer, could he actually turn around and just shoot after he was assaulted, not knowing who was the person that was assaulting him?
But see, here's the thing too, because I'm around a lot of police officers, and I help train police officers, and this is the thing: they're not going to do all of that. They're not going to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trained for that. Guess what? They got you get 2 years maybe of training before you actually become a police officer. Guess what? These kids on the street fighting years out of their life, scuffling, wrestling with friends, with enemies. Guess what? They're more experienced in that wrestling stuff. They're stronger. They got more endurance. Youth is on their side. They not finna sit here and wrestle with these kids. These kids ain't got kid bodies. I bet you Nightwing can contest to this, that a lot of police officers want to shoot first when it comes to an altercation. They're going to shoot you. People that look like us, 200 and above, they're not finna wrestle with us.
We ain't got no time. We got no time. Now, if they know it now, speaking because I know of a certain situation, most officers, if they know weapons are not involved, they're gonna shoot that fade with you.
It ain't even, sometimes they don't even care if a weapon is involved. I've had police officers who I've trained say this to me just by looking at me. Shit, I ain't finna fight you. I'm gonna shoot your ass.
No, you're right. Hey, Sue, read that comment.
You have never been a scuffle in a day in their life. That part is very, very, it's effective in this situation because you were just saying something about like the kids and all the rest of that stuff, just wrestling and then scuffling and fighting, all the rest of that. Hell, if you were in the neighborhood before, like after you got out of the neighborhood, you did that same damn wrestling, scuffling, and fighting. So you know what the hell it is that you need to do in order for you to subdue. It ain't got nothing to do with training. Training is life or death rate. That right there, them little scuffles and all the rest of that shit. If you grew up in the neighborhood or you know how to scuffle just like the hell they do.
Right.
But see, you gotta they're not getting.
You gotta be able to assess the situation and you got.
Get out of my head. Get out of my fucking head, you bastard. So, as Super said, because he was just inside my brain, one of my favorite movies, Training Day. Denzel Washington says this to the rookie officer. He says that grab them up, wrestling stuff, we don't do that no more. Those days are dead. We use this. That's where the training has to come from. You can't train them to scuffle with these guys. You got to train them how to be tactical, how to be smart, how to approach a situation and gain the upper hand, how to use the mouthpiece, how to use this. That's where the training comes from.
Exactly.
How to, when there's a situation that demands it, how to look for things and situations to control the area.
Mm-hmm.
To train and look for that stuff to make sure nobody hits you in the back of the head when you got a suspect down. That's where the training comes in. Like it would take you years and years and years to train police officers to be able to handle and wrestle with people.
Yep, those are facts. You're right.
It's years. Years it would take. not just 2, not just the little time and the little training sessions that they have 30 minutes to 4 hours maybe.
Yeah.
That certain trainings go through. It would take years to devise a systematic way for police officers to handle situations. Guess what? In Japan, the police officers in Japan don't even roll around with no guns.
No, they don't. No guns at all.
All of them are brown belts in judo.
Right.
They whip ass.
So let's
no gun.
So let's bring up that question that we were supposed to ask him, B. Dre, if the kid is underage, let's say under 18, what would be
on the 16?
Under 16, what would be the approach to handling the situation, and who is the person that would have to basically be reprimanded for that situation if your child did something incorrectly?
I mean, because as an adult, you're gonna get it. That's flat out. You're gonna get that. Hence the reason why there wasn't no issues for real at the mono and all the rest of that, because you had the X-Men, and that was the point that I was thinking about earlier. B, there were those. Some of them was some of them had those fake IDs of where they was getting in, like the little 17 cats that looked like they could have been 21 and up. But for the most part, the vast majority of those people that was in those clubs was adults. Now, and I hate, and this word don't have no reflection on the fact that it fits the situation. Some of the people that be up in there to get real niggerish come in and they execute. But for the most,
but that was their job. That was their job. When the situation demanded that, when there was a fight or altercation, they come there with extreme prejudice
and
to control. And not only did they do it and clean it up, but it sent a message to everybody else in the spot that say, you do this,
this is what you're gonna get.
You come in conscious, you do this, you leave it unconscious.
Oh, so actually he just found it. Let's read it. You also have to take into account the totality. What? Okay, of the situation.
So you have to take into account the totality of the situation yourself as well. And then there's another comment up there. These kids are just, what is that up there? I'm trying to read the comment up there. These kids are just as dangerous as the adults, not more. I agree. I agree.
If more, they're more dangerous.
I agree.
Than the adults. They're more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Their sense of right and wrong is like it's morbid.
Yeah.
It's morbid. Their sense of right and wrong is morbid. Some of these adults at least have a sense of the right and wrong. At least have a itty bitty inkling of right and wrong. These kids, it's like they totally bypass. They think they're right. They believe they're right in their actions. That 16-year-old believed he had every right to cluck that police officer in the back of the head or strike him. The 15-year-old girl believed she had the right to hit the officer. They believe they have the right. So their conscious of right and wrong is totally morbid. It's not even valid. But then they
believe that shit all the way to the point.
So then the community jumps behind, oh, the youth, that's terrible how you look at the what they saying. Some of these teens, if you even listen to what they saying, they think it's right and wrong. You be like, how do you think that?
No, you are 100% right, because the guy that showed up that Sunday, because he couldn't do what he wanted to do, the first thing he screamed out, which to me was the dumbest thing he could have said, he said, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna kill all you niggas. And I'm like, bro, first off, now I know you ain't gonna do shit because you saying it in front of the police that you gonna come back and kill everybody. Now you just stunned.
Even if it, but look, he thinks that's okay.
The facts.
He believed that was okay. What allowed you to think that that was okay for you to say out of your mouth? Like you believe you had the right to say that, right? That you was gonna come back,
right,
and do that. They think they don't even have that in their brain,
right?
And then we jump behind them as parents, as a community, and say, "Oh, when an adult do them dirty, like what just happened,
yeah,
the adult need to be punished."
No, facts.
I think everybody need to be punished.
No, 100%.
Everybody, the parents, the kid, and the police officer did.
Right.
Everybody gotta share it.
So B, go ahead and read what our resident officer said.
Okay.
B,
he said you gain control of the situation. Single officer, multiple people around. People aren't always going to be true. So whatever you need to do to contain and stop the situation and reason has to be.
One more.
You gain control when it stops. Once you gain control of that, that's when it stops. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Dre, because you in that line. You in the line of fire. B, I don't disagree with you because you in the line. My thing is when that goes back to what you were saying earlier, like what happens to like what's the deal with the teenagers now? 5 letters for you. And that'll briefly describe what they feel and what they do. IDGAF. And they live by that mantra. If everybody don't know what that means, I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
When you have these teenagers fuck about, they really don't care about nobody else. Hence the reason why they hitting people with authority in the back of the head with whatever skate. Whether it be they fist, don't care. So when you don't give a shit about yourself, then you don't care about nobody. Reason why they end up getting hemmed up and getting their ass beat out there in the streets, getting beat with mace and all the rest of that stuff. So held accountable? Yes. Does the police officers still need to be held accountable? Parents need to be held accountable? Yes. The skating be held accountable? Yes. Everybody that had something to words if it got caught on camera and had to say about it, they all need to be held people accountable. Or that whole X-Men to words of if you keep showing up in here and you doing this is what's going to happen to you. Until that happens, the shit's going to keep on happening.
Well, you know what the thing really is, to tell you the truth, and this is the truth. We're not hiring the right people for the jobs.
Facts. Those are all facts right there. That statement within itself is the reason. Even my brother, that's an attorney. If you're gonna become a police officer, if you're scared, why did you take the job?
Yeah, we have to be hiring people that are intimidating. To tell you the truth, we have to be hiring people. If we need jobs done and we need communities to be cleaned up, we have to be hiring the right people. We have to be hiring people 6'6", 280, 300 pounds. We need to be hiring people who are able to be like, no, I'm not gonna hit him upside the head.
Facts. Like we need those people that's gonna snatch you up real quick.
We need that. That's why we didn't play with the X-Men. That's why we didn't play with the X-Men. Because they were 6'5", 280, and they didn't give a fuck. That's where Rink came from.
You want to win?
No. That's what it needs to be.
Exactly.
That's what it needs to be. A 16-year-old run up on somebody 6'6", 280. He gonna look at him and he gonna.
Right, facts.
Hey,
everybody ain't
don't know for sure if either one of y'all was there. I don't know if sure if either one of y'all was there, but if not, that if you. But remember that once the coach for Gene started up the prices and started asking up everything about. There was an incident that happened one day when we was there, and I remember this shit like it was yesterday. It was a dude, the ex of the chick that used to be with the kids and all the rest of that shit. Dude, it was he came in to fight because it was a fight that was going on. Dude walked in, and now Kev is like 5'9", 5'10", he about 250.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Dude and ass up with one hand, walked through the crowd and threw him.
I remember that.
Where in the hell are those people at?
Hey, shout out to
Where's
Kev.
them cats at? Big shout out.
Kev.
Yeah, big shout out, Kev. But like I say, we need people who go fit. Now you knew probably back then if somebody was security or police officer and they was 5'8", 5'9", they was dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't even have to be cock diesel. They didn't even have to be, but you knew back in the day if somebody wanted, they was dangerous. They was skillful.
Knew they was scrappy. They
was skillful.
Yeah.
I'll put it like that. They had some skill because they was on a police force and they was rolling with big guns. They had big dudes. If this is the dude that's in charge, he's dangerous. How many movies you see where it's a small dude who the leader, but it's a bunch of big dudes around him. If this small dude is the leader of the gang, he whipping some ass. You know, he knows how to whip some ass.
Right.
But now that ain't the case.
And these big dudes ain't gonna mess with him. That's right.
Exactly. He done something that these big dudes will be like, I ain't messing with that crazy dude right there. That look crazy. Crazy. How many times everybody's seen these cats and stuff on these TikTok videos and stuff like that? When that cat reached that hand up like that, that cat be hitting folks 100 and something. You know when that cat cocked that little hand back like that, you getting all skibbity paps. Okay. You getting 100 and some skibbity paps before you even know what happened.
Indeed.
That's what it's supposed to be like. That's what it's supposed to be.
That's a fact.
We're not getting the right people because guess what? Who wants to do this job when this is what you have to deal with?
This nigga says skibbity paps.
Who wants to do this job when this is what you have to deal with? So the right people will be like, yo, I can't even do this job because there's so much criticism.
Yeah.
It's so much criticism. It's so much politics.
Mm-hmm.
So many other people who involved with won't let me do my job. Don't understand how I gotta protect myself. Who wants to be a cop nowadays? Who wants to do it?
Oh shit.
Who wants to do it?
Nobody.
Right.
So the right people don't want to do the job because you can't do it.
Fact.
So guess what? They hire anybody.
And when they hire anybody,
this is what you get.
Don't give a fuck. That's what you get. You're gonna get
this is what you get.
Yep.
When I get hit upside my head, it's like Demolition Man.
Yep.
If you seen Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes,
it's a fact.
That police officer said, "We're police officers. We're not trained to deal with this kind of violence."
Right.
It wasn't what they use. That's what we getting. Police officers who not equipped to deal with this type of violence.
Fact.
They was in the future. They didn't deal with all of that type of stuff. When you get somebody that come and is a hellion, a goon, a straight giving you physical everything, you not trained for that. They not trained for that. They not in physical condition to deal with that. Even so,
right.
How many times you seen y'all watch Cops? Y'all watch Cops. Sometimes 5 to 6 police officers to subdue one person.
Yep.
One person.
Yep.
So we talking one-on-one situation? Come on, really?
Facts. And you can already
Come on,
tell,
really?
oh boy, hey, the officer that was in Wichita was getting handled. I'm sorry. Old boy was he was
Old boy still was like ready. He could have kept going.
He was getting handled, dog. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, when he had him on the ground, that's where he should have kept him, to tell you the truth.
Lying. He
should have kept ground and pounding that young dude, because when he pushed him up against that wall, he tried to slam him down. He couldn't do it.
No, not at all. And then when
the
he
kid was standing tall and looking at him.
When he sprayed him, bro,
he just turned his head.
After the spray, he turned around and looked at the officer, dog.
He turned his head when he got sprayed. He didn't cry like a baby. He didn't drop down.
No.
None of that. He was still standing. What do you do with that? And y'all sitting up here talking about the police officer? They be talking about that kid. I want that kid tested for steroids. That's what I want. How about that? Let's talk about that. What that kid on?
That kid
Percocet, Molly, weed, Hennessy. But I want that kid probably was on everything. It was unfair. It was unfair. Right. It was unfair. That's youth with drugs, with alcohol probably mixed in.
Is not today's price. Big, go ahead and
testosterone on top of that. With testosterone. He's a young 16 stallion, a stud.
Fresh out the block, ready to run.
Fresh out the gate. He wasn't no greyhound. Let's put it like that. Fresh out the running gate.
Oh,
that officer gave everything he had, and that kid still was standing.
Like
that's scary. That's scary.
That's that. Yeah.
Bro, that is those are facts, bro. Those are facts. So we are at the 58th minute. B, go ahead and let's get to the closeout.
Yo, we just really, I want to thank everybody who tuned in with us. Thank you. Let's see, prime time.
Get somebody else. All right. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
And that was 16-year-old. And that was 16 years old. And like Snowflake said, he was 50 pounds. Now, what happens when it's a 16-year-old and he 180, 200?
6'4".
The cop outweighed him. The cop outweighed him by 50 pounds and still couldn't handle him.
Yeah, those are facts. We are at 59 minutes, gentlemen.
Look, because we really getting into the meat and potatoes here right now.
We are.
It really is. But the situation that demands that the youth, like we still haven't come to a conclusion as far as how do we protect our establishments?
Well,
because the roller rink, this is our place to relieve stress. This is our outlet. This is things for the community, and we can't even have grocery stores and roller rinks and things in the community because the youth come in and mess it up.
No, but you know what, B? You said it earlier though. It falls on everyone. So in order to get those people straight, we got to start calling people out when it happens.
I mean, we calling people out and say anybody can do that. We can call out, but what are the solutions?
That's what I'm saying. The solutions are we can't be so quick to see a kid get punched and then be like, oh, you wrong. No, we need to find out what really happened. Again, it falls back onto their story, and the truth.
Listen.
So we can't be so quick. Oh, you beat him up because he was black. No, he beat him up because he was getting his ass whooped.
Well, he beat him up because he hit him upside his head. First of all, let me just go on the record and say this: you better tell your kids don't hit me.
Right, because he beat ass for less. So don't You send your kids out. That one right there.
Batman
Batman
talk about me putting homeless people out the gym. Batman be beating up mentally unstable.
I'm an equal opportunist. I'm an equal opportunist. If you get one off on me, I'm getting 30 off on you. I got to sleep at night. How about that? I can't sleep at night if I got even. I can't sleep at night if I got even. I got to get enough over you to where I can be okay. And you hit me upside the head while I'm doing my job, I guarantee you won't hit nothing else for a long time. I guarantee you that.
Because he gonna look for you.
Right.
I guarantee you that. I'd have tore that boy's arm off and waved it at him. That's just me.
Ramona made a point, man. Ramona made a point. Doing out all the talking we were talking.
This is a great show. People need to watch this. People need to really go back through this episode because there is a lot that happens at the rink that the people on the sideline we don't respond to because it doesn't involve us. But in a skating rink, if you are a roller, it does involve you. So this is the reason why we had this episode because it's all of us. It's not what they do; it's what we do as skaters. So.
Yeah.
Snowflake, I'm coming to wrestle. I got to show you some moves so you'll be able to survive up there in Wichita because this is getting ridiculous. Snowflake know what I do.
Yeah,
she know what I do. She know how I get down.
Man. Yeah, I think this was. I think you made great points, B. So did you, Super Duper.
Yeah, so, I mean, on one hand, I know it's the youth, and we're gonna close it out because we got everybody. We done held everybody around, but at one point, our youth is getting out of control.
Yeah, that's it.
Our teens, and these are the teens that's growing up to be adults. So if they, as teens, messed up already, then the adult, it ain't looking too pretty because there's nowhere to go but down, unfortunately, with that. But in this aspect, we have to respect establishments. We get people that come into places, don't want to do what they told, don't want to do what the establishment. I mean, we had a pandemic.
Yep.
And people didn't want to come in establishments and wear a mask. Like, don't come in the establishment then. If you don't want to do what they want, don't come.
Facts.
Go find somewhere else. Don't come.
Do something
if
else.
You go to an establishment and they ask you to leave, I've been kicked out of better places than this.
Yeah.
This ain't the Ritz-Carlton. I'm out. Leave.
If it was that,
we've got to a point where we're always looking for an altercation.
Facts.
Soon as something happens, we're ready for an altercation.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Let's just abide by what the situation is.
Yeah.
And be done. That's what has to be taught to these teens. Single parent homes and all of that. It's like Snowflake said too, it take a village. It can't just be the parents telling them that. It got to be the teachers. It got to be aunts and uncles and everybody, putting that in these teens that, when somebody tell you something, when you somewhere else and somebody tell you something, you ain't at home.
Yep.
They got kids at the home telling the mama go to bed.
Right.
Mom, shut up. Close your door. You go to bed. I ain't going to bed. You go to bed. You got to have the whole thing.
I'll fuck you up.
You got to have the whole team. You got to be the excellent then. And if everybody doing that, and we hire the people when there's a job like that, when there's situations like that, we got to have the right people.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have the right people, and then on top of that, we got to pay the right people.
Yep. And don't be cheap.
When it goes down right like that. You got to come out your pockets. You got to pay the right people to do the dirty job. You got to make it worth their while to do that because it's ugly. Pork rinds.
And just in case you're thinking it,
Justin. is not today's price.
You got to think about that. Take that into consideration.
Yep,
Absolutely.
that's it.
Absolutely.
That is it.
That's what it is. With that being said, we wrapping it up. We want to thank Snowflake. We want to thank Greg. We want to thank Ramona. We want to thank Nightwing. We want to thank J Rags, Get Money. Everybody who commented, Prime Time. Everybody that commented, thank you. You know, that tuned in and rock with us tonight. This was serious. Please, the violence in the rinks must stop. We got to keep our rinks. That's, we at the end of the day, we still a skating show, podcast. We got to keep our rinks, and we can't lose them to violence. It's enough to the point where it's hard to maintain a rink as it is. We don't need to add violence on top of it. God damn it. Please control your kids. Control these teens.
Beat their ass.
If they bad at home, don't drop them off at somebody else's establishment. They're going to be bad there. They don't get to go nowhere.
Nope. Fuck them kids.
Roller City,
motherfucker.
Roller City, hats off to you. I know they have a hard task at hand trying to let people know that it's still a family-friendly environment there. And it's not a place of violence, and you're scared for your safety.
And B, what's the name of that rink again?
Roller City.
All right. So as of right now, y'all need to support Roller City even more. Don't stop going because of that situation. But now is the time to support more, but also you need to support your officers. You need to support the rink. And then they will do the same for you as well. If you are a parent, don't be afraid to leave them your phone number and say, if mine is doing wrong, call me. Because it's giving you the opportunity to come correct your child.
Wichita, Kansas. Roller City.
Well said,
Roller City, if I was y'all, I would hire people with beanbag shotguns and do a commercial and say, if your kid come up here tripping, we're going to put a beanbag in his ass.
That'll work.
Skate, go home.
Well, don't call down. We'll call the
skate and go home. If you are not willing to follow the rules of an establishment, don't come. It's not worth it. It's not.
Be the village, man.
What the rules are: if you're asked to leave, leave, or you're gonna get a beanbag in the ass. It's as simple as that.
Period.
Please cut it out, teens. Y'all need to cut it out.
Yeah. So, Ms. Nixon, the rink is in Wichita, Kansas. That's what we were talking about today. I'm sure you'll catch it later. You'll be able to see the videos. But yeah, the rink was in Wichita, Kansas. So go ahead, B. No matter if we were.
Wichita, Kansas. Indianapolis. California. In Canada. Dallas, Texas. Houston, Texas. Chicago. Kansas City, Missouri. Or right here in St. Louis. We are your Justice League, and we're not going anywhere. This is the #1 skate podcast. It can't get any better than this. You won't find anything else like it, okay? Tell a friend who will tell a friend who will tell a friend. We are your superheroes. We bringing it straight to you like a beanbag to the ass. Manager Rick, we see you. You clowned in Tampa. Without further ado, we out of here. Diamonds are forever
And so is the Just
Us
League.
Take us out.
We ain't got
We need to have
nothing else to say, man.
Whoop that trick.
You know what? We need a whoop ass song because all we needed to say, we said it. For those here, for those that ain't, watch that song on the rebroadcast because it's coming up shortly. So
I
listen.
believe the children are the future.
What's all the future?
Let them be the way.
No,
Show them all
I ain't letting these little
possess inside.
Possess a knuckle upside their head.
From
Give
behalf
them
of the Justice League.
A pride.
That right there is the green motherfucker. That's the bad bastard. I am
making
some bitch. We will see y'all in.
Let the children laugh.
Before we get out of